My name is Joe Freed, and my firm name is Freed Goldberg. Well, we're based out of Atlanta. I practice pretty much all over the place, but I've handled cases in 43 states. Somebody just added that up for me the other day, which is hard for me to imagine, but it's true. I have been practicing law since 1993, so I'm about to hit my 30th year doing this. For me, I never really set out to be a lawyer from the beginning. I was a police officer, and I sat in lots of courtrooms. And they felt like hallowed places where important things happened. And I noticed pretty quickly that justice isn't blind, and that the quality of the lawyer made a big difference in the outcome. And as I was experiencing that in real time, a judge who I was in front of quite often called me up and he said, will you come see me? I thought I was in trouble. And he basically said, what are you doing? I think you should consider doing something else. And first I was insulted, thinking he was saying I wasn't doing a good job, but he was saying the opposite. He was saying maybe you should consider going to law school. And so he encouraged me. It opened my eyes to the possibility, and the rest is what's been this career that I've had. I will handle anything within the trucking arena. I handle cases, obviously, that involve big catastrophic injuries and death cases. Most of my cases are cases against motor carriers and drivers. Have been one of a few people who are sort of on the cutting edge of that and have been sort of from the beginning of this thing called truck crash law. I felt like I needed to be a subject matter expert in something in addition to being a good lawyer, but to be a subject matter expert in what I was going to be a lawyer in. And so I've had a couple of sort of careers, because when I first started out, I focused in on birth trauma cases. So I was a med mal lawyer, but even not really, because I was just a birth trauma lawyer. And then I happened into a case involving a post-collision fire, think like Pinto case. It involved a Mustang, and it took over my world. And for a decade, I did nothing but post-rear impact fire cases. And I did that, and I told Ford Motor Company, if you change the design of the Mustang, I'll stop suing you. And they first, didn't really pay much attention to some punk in Atlanta. But fast forward 10 years, and having developed a real subject matter expertise, even now, it's been a long time, I could draw you the fuel containment system of probably just about any vehicle out there. So I was deposing people in the engineering field, and specifically in automotive chassis engineering and fuel system engineering at the highest levels in the world. And I'm kind of proud of that. I think that's what made it possible to make a difference there. And so when Ford changed the design, and I found myself floundering around for a while trying to figure out what I was going to be when I grew up again. And for a couple of weeks leading up to a particular day, everything I saw involved truck crashes. And I said, I think I'm supposed to do trucks. And there was a soliloquy that went into that that I've talked about a few times. But at the end of the soliloquy, I said, I think I'm supposed to do truck crash cases. What's hard for people to conceive now is there was not a single billboard in the whole world that was directed to truck crash cases. Nobody marketed themselves as a truck crash lawyer. And the crazy thing was that night, 3 o'clock in the morning, when I made this decision, I had no truck crash cases. So I went in the office, like I said, took myself off these boards, and literally at 8:15 in the morning, I got a phone call from a woman who sounded lost, and she asked me by name, and she said, my husband was killed about 3 o'clock this morning. That's how I found my way, or it found its way to me. It's also why I can look at anybody in the eye and say, I know without any question, without any shadow of a doubt, that I'm doing exactly what I've been put on this earth to do, because that stuff doesn't just happen.